Here's your news for March 4th, 2020. We are kicking off today with news from Raw, and this week's show kicked off with an explosive attack by Drew McIntyre, who leveled Brock Lesnar with a Claymore kick and celebrated with the WWE title. While Lesnar the character wasn't happy about this, Brock didn't really mind, as if you listen closely, the camera picked up the Beast ordering McIntyre to, quote, "take the belt," which could be heard on the live broadcast. Although it's common for wrestlers to talk to each other during matches and segments, it's much rarer to hear Brock speak on TV. And we can't help but think that Vince McMahon had a few choice words of his own backstage after this kayfabe-breaking moment was caught on camera. Now, if you've been following the news for the past few weeks, you've probably heard about the coronavirus, and even the wrestling world isn't immune from the pandemic. According to PW Insider, the company held a meeting with its roster shortly before Raw, where they went over what the wrestlers can do to protect themselves from getting infected. The report reads, "There was a meeting with talent before the show regarding the coronavirus to go over the latest available information on the disease outbreak and what talents can do to protect themselves on the road." With another case of the disease being reported in Florida, there are genuine concerns about so many people gathering in one place at WrestleMania. And while it'd take a lot for Vince McMahon to cancel the Showcase of the Immortals, events such as Access, where fans can have personal contact with the superstars, is also a concern. We've got some news from Michelle McCool now, as the former women's champion did a lot during her tenure in WWE, but that apparently wasn't enough to be praised by the company. Despite being the inaugural Divas champion and holding both the Divas and women's titles for a combined 500 days, McCool was recently snubbed by the company, who put out a list celebrating the top female superstars of all time. In a gallery celebrating the top women in WWE history, McCool wasn't included, and the wife of The Undertaker took to Twitter to express her disappointment in not being seen in the top 45 women despite her accomplishments. If you go to the gallery on WWE.com now, though, you'll see a picture of McCool as Divas champion, as it seems somebody was listening to the former superstar online. Though WWE have added McCool, as well as other legends such as Bull Nakano, one person who still isn't happy is The Undertaker, who replied to WWE saying that the additions were too little, too late. It's very chivalrous for the dead man to defend his wife's honor, but we can't help but wonder whether this will affect the pair's deals with WWE in the coming years. From two legends of the ring to someone who is still trying to make it in WWE, as Ricochet didn't capture the WWE Championship from Brock Lesnar at Super Showdown, and things have gone from bad to worse for the High Flyer. After being squashed by the Beast at Super Showdown, Ricochet also lost to 24/7 champion Riddick Moss on this week's Raw, and according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, the company has given up on the former US champion. He said, "I don't know what the mentality is. Obviously, Ricochet's done. I mean, maybe they will, but it's Vince. You know, he may change his mind next week, but this week, he's done. He's so done. You know this was a burial without a doubt. Who knows? He just gets these things in his head, like with Cedric Alexander. He was supposed to get a big push, and Vince just buried the guy, and now he's burying another guy. Perhaps Vince McMahon will eventually change his mind and once again push the talented high flyer, but for now, don't expect to see Ricochet holding championship gold anytime soon." From one abandoned push to another now, as despite weeks of build, it's been quite a while since the WWE Universe saw any interactions between Lana and Liv Morgan. After Morgan interrupted the wedding of Lana and Bobby Lashley by professing her love for the ravishing Russian, the two had a brief feud but had no real payoff, and it doesn't look like we'll be getting a resolution to this feud. Though Morgan did get a match with Lana, it was prematurely ended after Ruby Riott interfered, and now that Morgan is feuding with her former tag partner, there's been no mention of the Lana angle at all. Similarly, when Lana is on screen, the commentators don't mention Morgan either, as it seems that the fans will never get a definitive end to this feud, which the WWE hyped up for weeks. Speaking of the ravishing Russian, both Lana and her on-screen husband Bobby Lashley didn't appear on this week's Raw, but the Destroyer did cut a promo the week prior, saying the fans will like them even less very soon. The PW Insider is reporting that though the former Intercontinental Champion was at Raw this week, his blushing bride wasn't, saying, "Bobby Lashley was backstage, but Lana was not. The word making the rounds was that she had booked a film role and was shooting. Last year, the ravishing Russian signed a lucrative new multi-year contract with WWE, and her deal also allowed her to take advantage of opportunities outside of the company, adding to the small fortune that Lana is building for herself. Though neither Lana nor her on-screen husband Bobby Lashley were on WWE TV this week, the same could be said for her real-life husband Rusev, who was also notable for his absence on Raw. Several reports claim that the Bulgarian Brute has been pulled from WWE TV as the company tries to iron out a new deal with him, but the PW Insider is reporting that Rusev, like Lashley, was also backstage at Raw this week, just not used on camera. In the past, the former United States champion has repeatedly teased leaving WWE, even once describing himself as a soon-to-be free agent on Twitter, so time will tell whether the WWE Universe ever see Rusev in a WWE ring again. Though neither Lashley nor Rusev were on Raw this week, the same can't be said for Brock Lesnar, who's been appearing more and more as we draw closer to WrestleMania. Now another appearance of our WWE champion has been announced, as the Star Telegram is reporting that Lesnar will be on the March 23rd edition of Raw, which will air from Fort Worth, Texas. The show will be the second-to-last episode of Raw before WrestleMania 36, meaning fans will get to see a lot of the Beast before his epic WWE Championship encounter with Drew McIntyre on April 5th. From one veteran of WWE to another now, as Stone Cold Steve Austin doesn't make too many appearances on WWE these days, but when he does, all hell breaks loose. With that in mind, fans of the Rattlesnake can look forward to the March 16th edition of Raw, as Austin is fully expected to be on the show, which will take place on 3/16. According to Brad Shepard, not only will Austin be at the show, but there are also plans for the show to be themed around the Bionic Redneck. With WrestleMania approaching and WWE still struggling to get viewers watching, having arguably the biggest star of all time appear will certainly help the company out, and fans can look forward to plenty of beer and stunners in just a few weeks. Being one of the most iconic wrestlers of all time, Austin is no stranger to WrestleMania, and this year's show is seemingly coming together nicely. Though Macaulay Culkin has said he's canceled his flight to Tampa following The Fiend losing the Universal title to Goldberg at Super Showdown, the show will reportedly still have celebrity involvement, as the WWE has their eyes on former New York Giant Michael Strahan. In a report this week, Brad Shepard said that while the company still wants to see Strahan at WrestleMania, it's unclear if they'll be able to pull off a deal in time for the show on April 5th. WrestleMania has played host to many football stars, from William the Refrigerator Perry at WrestleMania 2 to Rob Gronkowski at WrestleMania 33, and it looks like Strahan could be the next name on that list if the time and money is right. Well, we've spoken a lot about WrestleMania, but the Showcase of the Immortals is just one part of an entire week of WWE, which will include the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony. So far this year, Batista, the New World Order, and the Bella Twins have been announced, and this week it's been announced that John Bradshaw Layfield will be joining this elite group. As a former WWE champion and Triple Crown champion, JBL's in-ring accomplishments means he clearly deserves this induction, as he ruled SmackDown from 2004 to 2005 as one of the Blue Brand's most hated heels of all time. As of right now, there's no word on who will be inducting the legendary Texan, but given Bradshaw's lengthy career, there's no shortage of options, from his APA tag partner Farouk to the man who ultimately ended his WWE title reign at WrestleMania 21, John Cena. We're heading back to the ring now, and if you've been watching the WWE's main roster recently, you may have noticed quite a few stars using the Canadian Destroyer. A move that's synonymous with Petey Williams in TNA, it's interesting that the move isn't even being used as a finishing move. And on this week's Wrestling Observer Radio, Brian Alvarez explained how superstars were finally given permission to use the high-impact move. He said, "Don't you know the story of this? Apparently there was an NXT match, it was a takeover or something, and Vince was there. Somebody did a Destroyer and Vince was like, 'God damn, why don't we do those moves on the main roster?' Or something like that, and it was allowed on the main roster." Although we've all heard stories about how stubborn Vince McMahon can be, sometimes it doesn't take much to change his mind. And in this case, all it took to get the Canadian Destroyer approved was seeing it happen just once in NXT. Speaking of the gold brand, WWE Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix has done well since joining the NXT commentary desk, but things didn't go swimmingly for the Glamazon when she appeared on Raw this week. When Beth tried to speak about the injuries her husband Edge suffered at the hands of Randy Orton, she was quickly interrupted by the Viper himself, who not only blamed Beth for Edge coming out of retirement, but also leveled the former WWE Women's Champion with an RKO. On social media, Orton continued targeting the Glamazon as he tweeted out a picture of him RKOing Beth with the mocking caption, "Never send a woman to do a man's… you get it." Orton even tagged Edge himself in the post, as he clearly wants the Rated R superstar to see it, and we can't help but wonder just how Edge will respond, as he'll be appearing on Raw next week, in his first appearance since he was attacked by his former tag team partner. We've got some big news from the Dark Side of the Ring documentary series, as more details have emerged on Season 2. In an announcement made through Variety, it was revealed that the Vice series will return this month on March 24th and consist of a total of 10 episodes. Not only that, but the first episode will cover the Chris Benoit double murder-suicide and will include interviews with Benoit's family and friends, including his other son David and his wife's sister Sandra Toffoloni. Other topics covered this season will include the murder of Dino Bravo, the Brawl for All tournament, the career of ECW star New Jack, and the death of Nancy Argentino, the girlfriend of Jimmy Snuka. The story of Road Warriors Hawk and Animal, Herb Abrams' attempt to build a wrestling empire, and the sad passing of Owen Hart will also be covered this season, as fans can expect once again to get an in-depth look into wrestling's darker side on March 24th. And finally today we're ending with some Goldberg news, as many fans are still coming to terms with the Universal Champion's victory over The Fiend at Super Showdown. One man who knows Goldberg very well is Eric Bischoff, as the pair worked together in WCW, and the former Raw GM spoke candidly about the title change on his 83 Weeks podcast. He said, "Given the trajectory of the Fiend character, I was really surprised, and nothing against Bill, but he's not a full-timer. He's a part-timer, and Bill pretty much shit the bed the last time he was in Saudi Arabia. I found that shocking, particularly, the way they did it as quickly as they did it." Bischoff also went on to say that despite this loss, he believes that The Fiend could be an Undertaker-esque character over the long term. And while he may have lost the title at Super Showdown, Wyatt continues to gain fans and followers under his new, massively popular gimmick.